School Project Podcast. I am your host, Sophia Renzetti, and today I am joined by Nicholas Dune and Santiago Matos. Today we'll be discussing two poems by renowned poet Carol Ann Duffy. The two poems we'll be going over are Lizzie 6 and The Dark Letters. We'll begin by reading the entire poem, and then we will go stanza by stanza, analyzing each of the stanzas so we don't get mixed up and confused. Santiago, would you like to read Lizzie 6 for us?
Yes. Lizzie 6. What are you doing? I'm watching the moon. I'll give you the moon when I get up there. Where are you going? To play in the fields. I'll give you the fields. Bend over that chair. What are you thinking? I'm thinking of love. I'll give you love when I've climbed this stair. Where are you hiding? Deep in the wood. I'll give you wood when your bottom's bare. Why are you crying? I'm afraid of the dark. I'll give you the dark, and I do not care.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
beginning
Santiago.
with the title. We can interpret the title as being about a little girl named Lizzie, age 6. Do you guys have any other interpretation?
No, I think that's about it, really. The title is pretty simple.
Okay. Moving on to the first stanza, we notice the presence of italics, and we also notice the presence of italics throughout the poem. And this form of writing indicates that there are two speakers throughout the poem. One of them we can interpret as being Lizzie, due to it being in italics, and I think Carol Ann Duffy made this, used italics on purpose in order to indicate Lizzie's voice, because we can see that the italics are used to show innocence. Anyways, so the first stanza, what are you doing? I'm watching the moon. I'll give you the moon when I get up there. As you can see, after she says, I'm watching the moon, it says, I'll give you the moon when I get up there, and that kind of sounds dark and kind of has like a predatory
It
voice.
sounds threatening, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of threatening. And do you guys have
Your
anything else?
annotations look a lot like mine.
Yeah.
I just gotta say. It looks
So,
identical.
I find it interesting that both perspectives are in first person. Both times they use I. I thought that was interesting, even though it's obviously two different people, but
Like,
they're both in first
yeah,
person.
Yeah. It's like the-
Also, I don't think in the beginning that it sounds predatory. I think the first stanza seems pretty innocent. Like it may seem like obviously Lizzie's saying like something, oh, I'm doing this, and it's kind of like, oh, I'll give you that, like as a nice thing to do instead of like something predatory. I don't know. That's what the
Who
feeling I
says?
got.
Okay, but like.
I
who
know.
says,
Also,
I'll give you the.
I don't know. That's just what I got from it.
Yeah,
And then
I
also,
think
it
I
just
agree with
sounds
Sophia.
dark.
It kind of
I don't
develops
agree.
throughout the poem.
Yeah, okay,
and also, I mean, like
I think maybe.
after you read the poem, like the phrase "I'll give you" kind of reminds you of like, I don't know, but personally when I was young, and I did something bad or something, and I would like cry about it. My parents would be like, I'll give you a reason to cry, you know? And no, it wasn't abuse. It's just like, a form of like, it's a form of discipline.
yeah.
But in this poem, I don't think it's discipline. It's more of
Abuse.
Yeah. Also, when the second person says, when I get up there, like when I first read this, when I get up there, I was kind of thinking like, oh, when they like imagining like getting up to the moon, like something like that, or like going to the stars, something like that. Like I thought it was like innocent and fun. And now that I'm reading, like as you read further in the poem, it's kind of like when I get up there, it's kind of like when they reach the child to attack them, basically.
Okay, and then moving on to the second stanza. Again, we see the italics indicating Lizzie's voice. And in this stanza, she talks about playing in the fields. Do you guys have any interpretations of that?
She's just doing kid stuff.
Yeah, I think it becomes clear here that they're clearly not thinking the same thing. Like it's obvious that she is not picking up on what the
Yeah.
other person is putting down.
She's just being
Yeah.
innocent. That's
And
why I
also-
have
yeah.
the innocence there.
I think this stanza it picks up really quick, and when the person says "I'll give you," it starts to become forceful. It like you can tell it's like forceful, and it's not like like
Yeah,
gentle.
especially with the use of bend over that chair.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when you start noticing it.
Yeah.
But other than that, Lizzie's just doing kids things, like playing in the fields, watching the moon. And also the fact that, I just noticed this, the fact that she only speaks once per stanza, it kind of shows her oppression and due to her abuse and how she lacks confidence. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I agree.
Okay,
agree
so
too.
anything else about the second stanza?
No, I think it's about it really. Yeah.
Okay.
Stop. Okay, now to the third stanza. What are you thinking? I'm thinking of love. I'll give you love when I climb this stair. This sounds very stalking like yeah. Also,
I don't know if you guys said this before, but it sounds predatory.
yeah, I don't think we did. Also, she says love, and he also says love,
Yeah.
and it's clear they're not thinking of the same love. Like,
Yeah.
she is clearly thinking of like childish
actual
love,
love.
yeah, or like yeah, and he's thinking of the inappropriate type of love.
Okay.
Also, having the person say, "What are you thinking?" and ask them questions that like would come off as like just simple questions, and then when they get a response and replying with something that is extremely inappropriate.
It's not like it's not blatantly inappropriate. It's like
Yeah.
it's not obvious. It's just like they're manipulating the child to do
Yeah.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the third stanza, where are you hiding? Deep in the wood, I'll give you wood when your bottom is bare. So this is when Lizzie kind of, or what I feel, when Lizzie's kind of realizing her abuse, and she's like hiding at this point, deep in the wood, trying to get away from her abuser. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but the abuser's kind of like up to interpretation. Like you could say it's her parents, or like you could say it's somebody else, but here when he says, I'll give you wood when your bottom is bare, it kind of,
Yeah, you kind of figure who.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really not her abuser, or her parents, it's more of like an abuser.
Yeah. I mean, it could be.
Yeah, this poem's dark.
Yeah. Also, do you think that time has gone by in the poem? Like, do you think
Yeah.
she's still okay? Do you think she's still 6?
Her poems, yeah, it has like
Okay.
a shift. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's 6.
Of, like,
but,
years
you
of,
kinda
like,
figure it
yeah.
out,
Yeah, because I feel like it doesn't happen like one day after the other. Like I think they're like, yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's like it's been like a year or something, and like she's
Yeah, it
realized,
could be
like, this-
chronologically,
Yeah,
or, yeah. And then finally, the last stanza, why are you crying? I'm afraid of the dark. I'll give you the dark, and I do not care. That's where it kind of all comes together, and you can really see that she's suffering from abuse.
Yeah. It's like
yeah.
like she's being abused, and then there's also, well, they're using her for like whatever darkness, or what are they using her for? Am I allowed to say sex?
yeah, because it's kind of like it's not appropriate, but it's clear like
Okay.
they're obviously
So
sexually.
I'll start back from the beginning of this digression. It's obvious that like the person that's abusing her is like sexually abusing her, and so there's like they're using sex to like justify their bad relationship, and then that kind of shows that last stanza is like they kind of reveal that they really don't care about Lizzie.
Alright, so, just noticing some shifts here. There's obviously the major shift from the first stanza to the last stanza.
Okay, I also want to say that in this last stanza, obviously it was showing before, but it becomes like evident that the italic speaker has like a distinct fear, and the other speaker is clearly using their fears against them to manipulate the.
Yeah,
Okay, and finally, we're gonna just discuss the themes of Lizzie 6.
The themes that I picked up throughout the poem were abuse, loss, innocence, control, kind of longing, and a lot of menace in it too.
Yeah, definitely,
I agree.
loss of innocence is definitely a major one.
Yeah, they're all dark.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah,
dark themes.
yeah.
And, that's about it. Okay, now we're going to be talking about the Darling Letters. Does anyone have any ideas on the title? Okay, I'll start. I immediately think of love letters because of the word darling, and darling is kind of what you refer to your partner as. And darling also has a very kind denotation, it's
like
nice.
loving.
It's
Yeah.
a loving term, yeah.
Term of endearment.
Yeah. Also,
So-
I kind of get from the title that it's supposed to be kind of like a poem for like loving relationships, like lovers to read, because it's like
Yeah, definitely
Oh, I
romantic.
agree, yeah.
Definitely romantic. Okay, so who's gonna read the poem?
Yeah, I'll read the poem.
Alright.
Some keep them in shoe boxes away from the light, sore memories blinking out as the lid lifts. Their own recklessness ran all over them. My own. Private jokes, no longer comprehended, pull their punchlines, fall flat in the gaps between endearments. What are you wearing? Don't ever change. They start with darling, end in recriminations, absence, lost sense of loss.
Did you mean recriminations?
Oh yeah.
Okay. My bad. I remember that word. 'cause
Wait, what did I
defined
say?
it. You said recriminations. Just
oh.
back to absence.
Absence, sense of loss. Even now, the first bud flowers into trembling. The finger strays its line and see the future then. Always. Nobody burns them. The darling letters. Stiffen their cardboard coffins. Babykins. We all had strange names that make us blush as though we murdered someone under an alias.
Yeah.
Long ago, alias. Long ago, I'll die without you. Die. Once in a while, alone, we take them out to read again. The heart thudding like a spade on buried bones. Okay, so let's go over the first stanza.
Well, first I'd like to notice any rhyme scheme. Do you guys notice anything?
No.
No, me
Yeah.
neither.
Rhyme scheme.
Okay,
Is it-
so
Should write some prose.
yeah, so this is free verse. So yeah, talking about the first stanza.
Yeah. I don't know if this is all of us, but personally, I think love letters are things that are like written with devotion. And
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I think it's prevalent in this that Duffy also thinks the same way, or at least like the perspective that she's presenting thinks the same way. So I kind of think it's when they say like shoe boxes away from the light, it's like why are you hiding something that was written with devotion?
Yeah.
You don't
and
hang hang
I feel like the
priceless.
parallel emotion to that is like it's like this regret. She has regret about this relationship. It's not like I'm glad
Yeah.
that I was in love. She's regretting that they even started the relationship. Like
Yeah.
where she says our own recklessness. Yeah. It's just like this regret, and she like questions the basis of the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, to put this poem into context in Duffy's life, this is after she had broken up with from a long-term relationship that she was really like, devoted. You met, yeah.
This
So
is
it's
a true story.
clear. It's clear like Caroline Duffy is experiencing the emotion she's writing. Like she clearly relates to them. Yeah.
So I also think their own recklessness is kind of referring to like inside jokes that
Oh yeah.
might have been in that relationship.
Mhm.
For example, when she says my own private jokes no longer comprehended pulled their punchlines. So it's kind of like now that the relationship is over, there's no meaning to
Yeah.
these inside jokes, kind of.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of seeming that she like the speaker is kind of talking like about a version of like themselves that they can't really remember. Like they feel like that time in the relationship was just it's like kind of like gone from them now because of the loss they experienced. I think. Yeah. That's just kind of like
Okay.
where I-
Alright,
yeah.
well, next stanza.
Yeah.
Next stanza.
Oh wait,
Get
one more
that.
thing to notice. So she starts using italics in the first stanza and throughout the poem, and that makes me think like maybe those parts,
The words in the letters.
yeah, are
Yeah.
the words in
Yeah.
the
They're
letter.
quotes
Yeah,
from the letters.
yeah,
Sorry, we
yeah.
didn't mention that.
They're like
Okay.
quotes from the letters.
Yeah.
All right, so the next stanza.
All right, so first statement. First line. They start with darling and then recriminations, and like that's like what that literally means is like the letters started out with like a sweet opening, and then by the end of it, they were accusing the reader of something. That's what recriminations are. It's
Oh.
like
Okay. Yeah.
you didn't read it, bro. All right. Yeah.
Also, in the end of the stanza where they say like nobody burns them, I think they just like why not? Like they're clearly thinking like about this relationship in a bad way, about their past
Yeah.
relationship, but they don't want to get rid of like the.
Well,
Yeah.
they have like the significance to it. Like, okay, why would she even care about the letters this much if they weren't important
Yeah.
to her? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like she compares them to like the body of the relationship, like so stiff in their cardboard coffins. That's like that's a corpse, and then the relationship is what died, but the letters are like the physical remains of it.
Yeah.
Also, back to the first line of the second stanza when it says "Don't ever change." It's kind of like that sentence, obviously, or that little phrase, just kind of in the middle. It kind of signifies that, like before, when that was when that was in the letters, you know, "Don't ever change." It means something to the person who's receiving it. But now that like it's just there by itself in the middle of the page, it's kind of meaningless now, you know. So
Yeah.
it kind of lost its meaning. And then yeah, back to the nobody burns them, the darling letters, stiff in their cardboard coffins. Carol Ann Duffy's use of cardboard coffins is kind of showing the corpse of a dead relationship in the form of the dead letters.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the third stanza. Obviously, first part we already know that the italics are like pieces from the love letters. So when they say babykins, it's obvious like Carol Ann Duffy was probably called that by her past, the person that she was with in her past relationship, and she kind of usually like pet names for your significant other is supposed to have like loving feelings behind them, like it's supposed to make you happy. And it's clear that Duffy is writing about how like she completely feels the opposite about that now because of getting out of this relationship.
Yeah, when she says as though we'd murdered someone under an alias long ago.
Alias.
Alias?
Alias.
We leave that in.
Alias kind of shows how she killed babykins, or yeah.
Or she
Oh.
mentally kill, not actually.
Wait.
Wait, is this about murder?
That's crazy. No,
Oh.
it's not about murder. Okay, that's good.
You mean-
That's cool. It's actually
Yeah, it's
really
the first
interesting. I didn't even think of that before.
It's written in the poem.
I didn't think about the connection to murder though. I didn't think it would be like babykins is like what
Yeah.
they murdered.
As
So they
though we
murdered. The murder, like what they murdered is like the relationship. They killed.
Yeah.
Huh.
Could be both.
murdered someone under an alias.
Alias! An alias is like.
Yes,
All right. So starting back in "I'll die without you, die." What do you guys think that means?
I think when she wrote the die again, I think it's really putting emphasis on like the intention of a word,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna
Like she literally
die.
said
yeah.
she's gonna die
Die,
without them,
yeah.
and they still broke up.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, metaphorically
Yeah.
speaking, I'm gonna die. It's like I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally, once in a while, alone, we take them out to read again. The heart thudding like a spade on buried bones.
See, that's like it also connects like my corpse and like relationship. Or the relationship being alive, the corpse of the relationship, like that.
Yeah. So here, literally, she's reading the letters again, and then she says it in like a figurative way, like her heart is thudding like a spade on buried bones, and I think the spade is like a shovel, and like when you dig up a dead body, like
Oh.
you hear
yeah.
like that noise of like the shovel hitting the bones of, in this case, the dead relationship.
Yeah. I was thinking showing that like because their heart's thudding and it's like a dramatic scene of depicting. It's like just resurfacing the past for some people can be very dramatic, It's like it cause a lot of anxiety or just like rush of blood and stuff like that. Also, I think along with the italic lettering showing like the what was written on the previous letters, I think it also kind of shows like the yearn that people still have for their past loves.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because like reading in italics adds like a tone to the words, kind of like a voice.
They're also like the exact words from the letters.
Yeah.
So she literally said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too dumb.
Showed
Yeah.
that.
Okay, and now, any shifts that you notice?
I feel like there is a shift where
Oh, so she starts off like where they're like closed off, right? Like,
Yeah.
She says
Oh.
shoeboxes away from the light. Like she hasn't opened it yet.
And then at the end, she's like burying them out.
Like
Yeah.
burying them back. Like they're opened and then they're.
it's kind of like a loss of strength too.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like a
I will
give up,
resist,
you know?
like thinking about
Mhm.
my past relationship and then it's like
She
no,
gives in.
yeah, she gives in.
Okay, and then themes of the poem.
I think really
Death of a relationship.
lonely,
Death.
Loneliness.
loneliness. Yeah, that's a clear one.
And now back to the title. Obviously, it's not as. It's not about the good side of a
Yeah,
relationship.
it's not romantic
Yeah,
anymore.
no.
It's,
It's
more
more about-
depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's about it for the Darling Letter.
Yeah.
Wait,
We hope you enjoyed our analysis on the two poems of Lizzie Six and the Darling Letters, and thank you for tuning in.
this is your host Sophia Renzetti signing off.